Test, test, test. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm going to be presenting OSINTsanity, which is going to be a live demo of Python scripting and OSINT tools to expose your digital presence online. And yeah, let's start with a brief introduction. So my name is Oliver Ohrt. I'm a sophomore here at UW-Madison studying computer science. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington, and I'm an incoming SWE intern at Amazon. So we're going to start today with a quote. The internet is written in ink, not pencil, by some anonymous somebody. And I really like this quote because I think it encapsulates my presentation today very well. You know, like a pencil can be erased, but ink is permanent, and that's exactly how everything, all the data on the internet is being recorded. So we're going to start by talking about digital footprint. I know your elementary school computer lab teacher definitely taught you guys a little bit about digital footprint. I'm not here to reiterate that, but just very briefly to talk about something like active footprints being, you know, social media posts, online profiles, blog comments, and more. And this is the stuff that you're actively and you know, consciously putting out on the internet through your decision making. But you also have passive footprints, which might be more unknowing ways that data about you is being collected. So stuff like cookies and tracking data, search history, or metadata. And both active and passive footprints kind of come together to create your online presence. So here in this visual, right, you know, you have a person like myself, and all my activity online can be tracked through, you know, I have contact info and comments and active accounts, and you can find out my location data. And if I had a criminal record could be online. And all that stuff kind of comes together to create this online presence. And so, like, why does this matter, right? Why am I telling you about this? Well, obviously there's a lot of threats that could be taken into account when considering all of the data online about an individual. So identity theft and targeted scams and stalking and harassment and professional impact. But you know, specifically what I want to talk about here is data. So this is a representation of you Lightning listeners. And of you guys today, this year, 60% of you will have personal data leaked in a breach. And of everyone here today, roughly 5% of you guys will have your identity stolen or used maliciously against your knowing. But for me personally, and how I kind of fell down this rabbit hole, which I'd like to clarify, I'm not an investigator or a cybersecurity specialist. This is just something I think I find interesting in online security. And it all started because I received an email that looked something like this. I didn't actually save the email. This is my recreation. But I got an email that was from my email address saying I've been hacked. And it stated my actual password for the email account and said if I don't send him some amount of Bitcoin, he was going to leak the videos that he took from my webcam. From Evil Hackerman. Now, thankfully, I didn't have a webcam at the time, so I just changed my password and went on with my day. But then I started to think, like, how did that guy just have my password? I'd seen scams before, but I'd never seen something like that where someone just sent me my password and was threatening me. And a little bit deep down inside, I thought, well, this scam obviously didn't work on me, but I feel like I could have done a little better than that, right? Like, how did this guy get my password in the first place? And, you know, what was really happening here? And after some research, that's kind of how I stumbled upon OSINT. So who here in the room is familiar with this term OSINT? Okay, a fair amount of people. So what is OSINT? OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence. And kind of the common definition of OSINT is, you know, collecting information from publicly available sources. Examples of OSINT could be as simple as checking social media profiles, or using a phone lookup tool, or searching public records, or searching through data breaches, which is where I've come to find out my old password, which I imagine the hacker found my password was being stored, or analyzing images metadata, or using professional software tools like some of these. So there's tons of open source software for OSINT, like the Harvestor, or I guess Google Dorking isn't really software, but Have I Been Pwned, or Spiderfoot, or Sherlock. There's a really awesome website called OSINT Framework you can go to right now that has, you know, any tool you could look for or possibly want to look for, which is super cool. And yeah, so before I continue, I'm going to get into like a little bit of a PSA. This demonstration is for educational purposes only, obviously. It's just something I think is really interesting. You know, I'm hoping to keep you guys aware and maybe a little spooked today and inspired to be more vigilant about online safety and privacy. Okay, so now I cooked up a little script here. It's like about 300 lines of code just to show you guys how much information you can pull about somebody online. Thankfully, I have a volunteer just to show like that I didn't hard code any of this. So here we have Sam. Could we get a round of applause for Sam? So Sam's going to type in his full name and his email, which is all stuff that like, you could easily find online about anyone in this room. So Sam here is going to dox himself. So, but basically, first it cross-references with, it shows every time that Sam's passwords have been leaked, and the date and the values that have been exposed. So Sam's date of birth, email address, locations, names, password, all have been leaked historically, many times actually. And then other information that we can find about Sam, educational and other experience. But now I'm going to show you from the perspective of someone who's maybe a bad actor, like how someone would take information and then follow through with it, what they would do, or as like a PI or personal investigator. So here, I'm going to dox myself now. So you see all this information that's going to come up, and you could look at this and be like, okay, here. And normally there'd be more information, but just for me here, like, okay, we're looking, we see my LinkedIn. So we could go, we could follow to my LinkedIn. And from my LinkedIn, shameless plug, you could see that I have a personal website. And on the personal website, oh my goodness. Is it going to load? Here, you could see I have a personal website, and you could go to the personal website, which a fair amount of you here also have personal websites, and you could go and you could find out who I'm connected to and other information like my resume. And then on my resume, you can find out my phone number and where I live, my email and stuff. And there's software online, like this one is the most disturbing to me, called, where you can go and you can plug in a first and last name like such. And you can see like how old I am, my home address, who I'm related to, my old landline, which is like ridiculous. But just overall as a whole, like this software being open to the public is kind of crazy, and it's something I think everyone should know about. Another popular tool is called, a lot of the stuff that you do on Google is public. So my Google Calendar, and I didn't realize this until I was prepping for this presentation, is public. As well as if I was like reviewing places on Google too. In a second here you'll see. And I encourage you guys to test this yourselves as well. A second here, just verifying. Let's see. Yeah, you can see all of my Google Calendar events and actually download them, which is also ridiculous. Okay, let's go back here. So. Why am I showing you guys this, right? What is this for? Ultimately, I want you guys just to become more vigilant about protecting yourself online, strengthening your digital shields, changing your passwords every now and then, not to sound vain, but auditing your presence. Google yourself every now and then. See what comes up. You never know. And practicing intentional online behavior. Because like these days, we see a lot of like bad scams, but you'll hear about on the news like AI recreated voices being emailed to people and like those kinds of scam messages. And like as the future continues with all this information that's online about every single one of us in the room, who knows what to expect. So being knowledgeable in this field, in this topic is invaluable. But overall, thank you guys for listening. Does anyone have any questions? All right, thank you guys.